when we talk about AI replacing everything, so yes, whatever has been the regular task that has set up as in, the steps are clear. So there AI can definitely come and replace. It has helped a lot. If we talk about the ATS through which we screen the resumes and everything, yes, that has helped a lot. But when there has to be a human angle, that a human has to.
Hello everyone, I'm Ansh Anand, CEO of Punjab Jewels, and today I have the honor of being with Mrs. Astha Jha Nagar, the Assistant Vice President of Human Resources at WiseHive India. We are at the IMA HR Conclave 2025. Hello ma'am, how are you doing? Very happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Ansh.
So ma'am, let's get into it. So we are here to talk about people management. We are here to talk about the most important asset that any company has, it's people. So before we get into strategies, challenges, and your expertise, I would just like to know a little bit about your background and how did you end up at the current position and company that you are at today.
All right, so I have around 18 years of experience into HR, ranging from manufacturing to fintech to FMCG and now IT. So it's have been a varied experience that I have with different generations, different kind of workforce, different kind of challenges and questions and eras, I would say. So that has been an interesting journey, and I bring along a lot of experience that I have. Along with that, I had my advanced HR course from IIM Indore last year, wherein I upskills myself with the present techs and present whatever is going on in HR.
So, in the last 18 years, what would you say have been the most significant changes, transformations that you have seen in your department, in your particular role as an HR? And at the same time, what are the biggest changes you've seen in terms of the employees that you've had to deal with over the last 18 years?
All right. So I'll break this down into specific segments, Ansh. So starting from the manufacturing industry, they had all different kind of, people who were there. So their mindsets, the kind of work they did, ranging from typical manufacturing mindsets, the age group of people that was there, the skill sets that they had were all different. The kind of skill developments we had for them was altogether different thing. Rather than from the IT, if I talk about, so there were, when I talk about fintech, so that was specifically a strictly work from office culture due to data secrecy and everything. Then hit COVID. So I would call it as an era. And, simultaneously during that particular time period, we had to go for a hybrid work culture. And we had to shut down our offices and everyone was working from home. So from being a strict policy-driven organization, which was not at all, going for any kind of hybrid or work from office, work from home model, we had to switch to the hybrid model. So that is the thing that has changed. HR has been more responsive to the changes. Earlier, we used to be, this is right and this is wrong. This has to be done. This has to not to be touched upon. Now, HR is something that, we are more responsive. We are evolving. We are coming up with new ideas. We are taking the front seats and being proactive to the things. We go a step ahead to understand what will be the need of tomorrow and to adapt the organization into that particular scenario.
Right.
So this has changed. This has evolved.
Makes sense. So, coming to today, where we are, what would you say are the strategies that you have utilized in the last decade or almost 2 decades in your career that have helped you in attract and retain the top talent that your company needs at that point of time?
All right. So first, attracting is the employer branding. Because see, what is culture? Culture is the way people are behaving in the organization, right? It's not written down on black and whites or on the walls of the organization. It is how the people are, how comfortable people are, what is the attrition rate, why do people leave, and is there a way that the organization or the HR can step in, be proactive and prevent people from leaving. So that is the point where HR has to talk.
Right.
right? How HR has to be a part of that organization to be why we are and why do we exist in business, right? So, bottom line is since people are there, HR is there, right? And also, we can automate the mundane processes. But now HR has a liberty and enough time to think and be a part of the strategic decisions, be proactive rather than just being a timekeeper or with, basics of the task that was earlier there. Now HR is more proactive, more communicative, and trust me, engagement is not just Friday lunches and fun Fridays. Engagement is why would an employee feel like coming to the office every day for the same routine, for the same set of tasks,
Right.
right? So that is where now HR's core function, core role is in place. Then one is retention that we talked about. The other one is attracting the talent. So therein I would say it is more of employer branding. Why would someone choose you as an employer? Right? What do you bring on the table that others may not have got it right now? So when we deal with Gen Zs or we are talking with new generations, so they have a lot of questions, and I feel that they are all open towards new things, experimenting, um, and they don't fear asking questions. So earlier, typically HR used to be HR के पास नहीं जाना है, कंप्लेन है तो HR बुलाएगा, right? Now HR's role has changed drastically. HR takes feedback from people. So it's not the annual reviews only when HR will speak to you about your performance. HR is with you time to time taking a feedback about an individual, talking to them and checking if they're comfortable working, if there's something that could be done to improve the overall culture. So, now people are more comfortable, more open, and more reactive and responsive.
Makes sense. One thing, a very interesting thing that I was reading online is how HR would be one of the only departments left in the company in today's day and age where I don't think artificial intelligence can replace what HR's role truly is, which is to engage with employees, to connect with employees, to communicate policies, to communicate changes, to communicate anything effectively, to take grievances and to resolve grievances. See, this is something that an AI cannot do. I think in a lot of other departments, AI is going to disrupt the roles a lot. But I think the role of an HR, of a people manager, is more important and more significant than ever. So, one thing that I am very curious to learn from you is when it comes to employees who are not performing well, how do we decide, how do we find out as an organization that whether it is the company's environment or the environment that they individually are in that is not allowing them to perform well, or is it actually their capability that is not allowing them to perform well? Because one challenge that I personally face in my own company is sometimes maybe the low performers, they are not actually performing low because of their capabilities or abilities. It's about the environment that we have put them in. And different employees, different human beings perform well in different environments, right? Sometimes we just need to recognize that. But as organizations grow, as you leave the one-on-one touch with all your employees, because that's what happens when you grow as an organization and it's not practical, how do we still have systems in place so that we don't just let go of employees who are not given the right environment, that's why they're not performing well? How do we identify those employees and then try to adapt to what they need in that scenario to perform well?
So, I answer one by one.
Sure.
So, initially, as I told, that we are talking to people. Feedback is the key. Communication is the key. The more you communicate, you'll get to know because you'll have a rapport build up, right? Generally, if you have gone through a Gallup questionnaire for employee engagement, they have a question specifically mentioned, do you have a best friend at work? So that does not say a best friend in person, but it is more of, is there someone you can speak to? You want to go, reach out, talk, and many a times it's just venting out.
Yeah.
Someone would not have a complaint, but maybe it's not a good day. So they'll come, they'll speak to you, and you have to give them a comfort that, okay, fine, we are there to help you out. In case you're facing any kind of challenge over the work, you're failing into something, just reach out to us. We are there to help you out. Is there something that we can do to make you more comfortable, to have a better workplace to work at, right? And generally, as they say, people do not leave the organizations, they leave their immediate bosses.
Very true.
Right. So that is the reason now HR is more towards communication, feedbacks, connecting with people to understand, is this a challenge with an individual, or is it that the challenge is the whole team, right? Is there something that we need to do to build a stronger culture, right? So that is where HR's main role is there now. And when we talk about AI replacing everything, so yes, whatever has been the regular task that has set up as in, the steps are clear. So there AI can definitely come and replace. And it has helped a lot. If we talk about the ATS through which we screen the resumes and everything, yes, that has helped a lot. But when there has to be a human angle, that a human has to put.
Definitely.
And typically, if I talk about dealing with human, is like आप कुएं से जैसे पानी खींचते हो. You'll have to hold it once, let the other hand go. कभी आपको प्यार से बात करनी होती है, कभी समझाना पड़ता है, कभी you have to take that policy and authoritativeness on you. So there are different skill sets that you have to apply as per the situations. So as we say that leadership has to change from time to time, from scenario to scenario. Similarly, the HR's role has to be changing from time to time. Right? So for making an employee comfortable, there are different aspects that you need to check, as I told earlier. So you have to be more available.
Right.
If HR is not available, generally what used to happen, HR used to have a different room, different cabin there where they used to sit. In today's era, HR is sitting with the people on the floor, right? So that people have that sense of security. If there is something, there are people who I can approach to. Generally, if you say, so in my organization, the CTO, the operations head, the product head, HR, everyone sits together on the floor. So anything is happening anywhere and we are there to help. We are there to hear what you have to say. Right? So that needs to be the approach, probably that needs to be the sense of security and understanding that people should have with the company.
Very true. When it comes to employee culture, one thing that you mentioned earlier is that company culture is not just about Friday lunches, and it's gone beyond that. And I think one thing that I'm also experiencing in my own company, see, we're into luxury retail. So obviously, majority of our employees, they are white collar employees, and they're employees who are now not just working to get their basic needs fulfilled. They are beyond that point where their salaries have gone above that point where their basic needs are fulfilled. Now they're looking for something beyond that. So as a company, as HRs, I think what we think about is how do we define our company culture and how do we make it so that it is not just the monetary benefits that our employees are hanging on to us for, because that is something that can be taken away by our competitor within a second, the day they decide to give a little more. But what can we do as a company when it comes to company culture that first of all makes our company stand out? Because everybody wants to treat their employees well. Everybody wants their employees to feel comfortable at their company. So how do we define our company culture in a way that helps us stand out and it's not like every other company? Because everybody is trying to sort of have the similar outcome. But how we communicate it differently, that is something that I often am, it's a paradox for me. So maybe you can help me, understand this a little better.
So these days, I mean, earlier there used to be exit interviews.
Yes, right.
So when a person is leaving the organization, the HR or the senior would sit with them and would try and understand, why do you want to leave?
Yes.
Now there are the interviews which is called retention interviews. So why you want to be with us?
True.
Right? So nowadays people know, okay, fine. And since we geographically we are all one now, so there's no point a person is working in Indore or in Pune or in Hyderabad. People will be coming, they'll be commuting and for jobs and everything. People don't think of it. Now, what is the key factor that distinguishes between salary as a perk and why I'm comfortable here? right? So those are the points, because when I talk to our people, and I try to understand that if you are given an opportunity to leave, why or what will you think that this company or this organization is better than the others? So work-life balance, the flexibility in hours, there are a lot of things, but ultimately it's the culture, the team, the kind of approachability or the comfort a person has developed. And a person will not remember how you supported him in a good times,
Yeah.
but would definitely remember that how you dealt with him in his tough or a bad days,
Definitely.
right? So moving just a step ahead, maybe tweaking the policy if required for that humanitarian angle that we should have,
Yeah.
right? It gives out a message not to that individual, but all the people working across. The policies are developed to have the things streamlined,
Yes.
but not to penalize someone.
So true. Very true. Yeah.
Right? So that is where the human angle has to be there. That is when I tell you that, there has to be a comfort that an employee can come up and talk to us, let us know that, see, this is the thing, and I'm going through this and I need a break. Okay, fine, go. Right?
Yeah.
Even if I talk about the Gen Zs. So earlier that used to be the era. I graduated, I'll go for my PG, I got my post-graduation done, now that's it. I'll join a company, I'll have a career for good 40, 50 years. Now it is something like, no, I'll have to brush up my skills. Right? So now when people come on the interview table, so they ask about the policy. Do you have a career development policy? Do you have a self-development policy? All right? What is my career path that you'll give me? Right? So now these are the questions that need to be answered. If they have a clear goal, and that needs to be aligned with what goal they have. So if an employee has a career goal, we'll have to have a path, right? We'll have to align this career path and the career goal. If there is a mismatch, we'll have to tell him there is a mismatch. You have to brush up the skills, right? In case we are requiring some particular skill set for X position, we'll have to tell the people proactively. Let's not be reactive, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not just salary. It's of the designation a person will hold, the kind of comfort level he'll have, the kind of authority or responsibility, because authority will not come without accountability and responsibility, right? So if they look for an authority, they'll have to be accountable for something. So that kind of position needs to be there.
Right. Very true. Ma'am, I will just end with this. Please tell me 3 words or adjectives that you think define your ideal HR.
Culture,
Okay.
competence, communication.
Lovely. Perfect. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I think we all got to learn a lot.
Thank you so much, Ansh.